reset Destiny.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. I'll do the same.
The full quit out. And...
Yeah. Check Bungie help for Twitter. They just canceled trials the weekend?
No.
You gotta be shitting me.
Yep. There it is. What's the issue? People playing and having fun?
No, apparently it's the matchmaking issue still there.
It's because people are crying. Just let us play. God. Bullshit.
Are you kidding me, dude? Like, what is this? Is just more of the win trading stuff?
No, the backing out matchmaking is still there. Or the backing out rejoining is still there.
Due to an issue with Fireteam rejoin functionality, Trials of Osiris has been disabled for the remainder of the weekend.
Can we turn in tokens?
Yeah, I guess we should. Unless that's been disabled too, but hopefully not.
It shouldn't be, because they re-enabled that last weekend.
Well,
Bunch of babies, man. People whining. Just play the game.
yikes.
Just play the game.
Yikes, dude. That's a huge...
Kinda. We're having so much fun. This is...
It's like the best weekend of Trials since
All they had to
launch.
do was disable matchmaking across the board, or rejoining. Just disable it. Lighthouse will be re-enabled soon, as well as Saint 14.
So he's not even on right now. You can't even do it. Well,
DSC run?
no, I really don't, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
No.
Sixes. You want to go comp? Let's go comp.
I mean, that's where everyone's about to go. I don't really feel like getting squashed for no.
For nothing.
I guarantee it's not as easy to just turn it off. Yeah, I mean that's the legitimate part about it, right? Is it like it's man, this weekend was good. Last night was fun. Today has been fun. Like this has been good Trials. Like man, I get it on the one map because it's like I get it for flawless. You had a big player pop playing for 5 aggressively, and
you know next week's not going to be the same loot either.
I can't believe it. Can't tell you how much I appreciate Ty. I wanted to go again with you tomorrow, Ty. I wanted to keep going all weekend with this. I am genuinely shocked.
Now I wish I stayed up till like 5 o'clock in the morning playing Trials.
I am genuinely shocked. I wish I wasn't, but I am legitimately surprised because they made such a big deal about how it was back.
So then, I have a question then of what was the fix they did from the last time it was broken?
I don't know.
Because if nothing had changed, then...
Right.
can't pull your ghost and go to orbit this weekend. Or this week. Oh, straight switch characters. I mean...
Garbage, man. This is... Bummer, man.
At this time, we aren't able to disable rejoin functionality specifically on trials. If we were to do this, we'd have to disable the feature game-wide, which would have a far greater impact to players than disabling the playlist for a few weekends. I mean, if that's the technical limitation, that makes sense. Yeah, of course. Of course you don't want Fireteam rejoining to be disabled game-wide. That would be wild. Imagine not getting to play trials because others are ruining it. I know. I'm just... Yeah, this is... Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I think you have so much, like, trial... the conversation around Trials of Osiris since this season, and even last season, really, has been... I mean, especially this season with the new loot, has been bad. There's no reason to play. There's no loot worth chasing. It's only 2.0 pluses that are playing, especially on PC. There's cheating. Like, there's no reason for me to go in and have a not fun time, not going anywhere, spend hours and hours to get nothing. This weekend, however, you have a highly valued loot item at an achievable win score. You have a new piece of armor at the opening win, so you're at 3 wins. You've got a high player population that's making games less sweaty, more competitive, a lot more back and forth, a lot more competition, a lot more people getting further along in their cards, a positive weekend-long conversation about Trials. Yay, Trials is back. Yay, it's the hand cannon. Yay, I'm having fun. Yay, 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 which is a complete 180 from what the conversation has been for the last weeks, months even. And because there are people who want to cheese the system and get the loot for free and not work hard and not try, they're taking the option away for everybody who does want to try and who does want to have fun, who does want to try to enjoy this. This is going to leave a very sour taste in the mouth of most Destiny players, especially casual Trials players, about the Trials experience as a whole.
But why a full shutdown, though?
That's what I don't understand. I mean, like, you want to know?
We didn't see any of it. All last night, all today, like no issues at all.
None of it.
Like,
but like the win trading is not at the cost of other players. Yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, it's the focus and anger should be on the win. I agree. I'm upset at those people. But here's that then to me, unfortunately, I think then that becomes, and this is where it starts to get into the business of it. And we're going to talk about this, okay? I'm going to switch over because we're going to talk about this for a minute. So this is where it gets to be interesting, right? Okay, so this is where it gets. My player opinion is find those accounts that are win trading, ban those accounts or suspend those accounts, and move on. But here's the issue. If the problem is so rampant and so popular that not only is it I mean, you're talking, if this issue is going, this is not 200 players. This is thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of players, right? A substantial percentage of players are doing this. Otherwise, this wouldn't even be on Bungie's radar, right? The issue then, because if you start banning all those accounts, then the number of your CCV, or, well, I mean, that's Twitch term, but your CCP, concurrent players, right? Daily average users, DAV. These are all like very intense data metrics for game publishers, especially live service games, goes down. And when you are trying to get money from people like Microsoft or from a partner technology company, and you're saying, well, we boast this many users on a daily basis, and you're going to intentionally lower that number, a banned account can't come back. An account you piss off for a weekend might come back. The better business decision is this one, which sucks, and I hate it. And it is the win trader's fault. And I'm upset that this is what the, you know, what this has become for, you know, this issue is clearly such a priority for Bungie and so bad that they're willing to take the mode out. Because it's devaluing the integrity of Trials of Osiris. But I mean, I wonder if what point does the integrity of Trials of Osiris mean less than player sentiment? Because sentiment, man, Destiny players hold a grudge, man. They do. So I don't know. I'm not a game developer. I don't claim to have the knowledge of this, like from a perfect perspective. But I'm thinking of, like, I do work in marketing and I understand the value of your audience, and especially for an independent studio like Bungie, how important it is to have players on every day and having those analytics go up. But this doesn't seem like it, given what a positive place they were in with the very vocal social community. Man.
So here's the weekly stats right now. So Xbox had 42,700 players.
Okay.
4,800 of them have been flawless.
Okay. It's 10%. It's not bad.
PlayStation is 52,200. 7,700 have been flawless.
How many? What was that?
7,700.
Out of how many?
So 52,000.
Okay. So better percentage than Xbox. Xbox has always been sweatier.
65,900 players.
Okay.
32,000 of them have been flawless.
32,000. 2/3.
So why shut down console? I mean, I guess you have to shut down everything.
Everything, yeah.
That's just under 50%.
PC Master Race. Ruins it again.
So overall, just under a third of players across the board have been flawless.
PC Master Race.
No,
that's
where,
that's insane.
That's where Clean's like, it's a rampant PC issue.
Yep. I mean, yeah, Amanda, I agree. Yeah, I banned the account, but again, it's like that makes us happy, the players who play every day. But it makes their investors pretty unhappy. Because the investors are going to say, keep those players playing, fix the bug that they're exploiting. You know, and it's yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. I think I'm trying to have empathy, because that's something that I think is important in these situations. I don't want to raise a torch and a pitchfork towards the developers, because obviously no one's trying to make Destiny a bad experience on purpose. I think that's ridiculous. Anybody who thinks that is an idiot. But I think that there was a snap decision made, you know, less than, well, I mean, we'll call it exactly 24 hours into the Trials experience, to based on a certain number of factors that they need. I think that maybe they didn't have time to do all the necessary research into all that stuff. I'm going to go back and read this other DMG tweet that we will be working with the team to ensure rewards aren't missed this season due to delays. Definitely want players to have chances for the hand cannon in lower win areas, not to mention messenger ad-ups up for grabs. I mean, sure. I would hope that that seems like an expected thing. Clean's going to go for a walk. Sounds good, bud.
This weekend was feeling so good too.
Yeah. That was, and we're getting crossplay. I mean, that I want people to understand, is that's going to be fun for like the lulls and Iron Banner and stuff. But absolutely, my Trials teams will be comprised completely of console players. Just as a heads up, unless I specifically am playing on PC with other PC players. I bet you no one's going to raise that flag because everyone's PC Master Race. I mean, this is the issue, right? Like, and I think that Xbox Series X is doing everything it can, and the S for that matter, to bridge that gap. But there is a portion of the industry community, the people who play video games, who genuinely believe that there is a difference. It's a superiority complex, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating because, you know, you find that console players very rarely don't want to just enjoy video games with people. There's not a lot of gatekeeping on console. There's a lot of it up at PC. They must have thought it was fixed genuinely. I mean, of course they did. Of course they did. Console wars are worse than ever. But I mean, okay, so what I'm talking about is no one's going to tell a PC player, you know, like you suck because you can play PC. I'm not talking about fans. I'm talking about like most console players don't care at all about PC players. They don't see them as anything but other people who play video games on a you know, big rigs on their desks and everything. What I'm talking about is that there's an active, right? I mean, like that stuff just doesn't happen, but it does happen the other way. I'm getting YouTube ads that sell me on flawless patch to Nightfall drop grinds. I mean, I think, you know, like that's the other thing, right? Like there's a big rift about the concept of recoveries and you know what that means. Technically it is against terms of service. There's very little ways you can prove it. So it's likely going to have nothing's going to be done about that. Boy, that's
And for those people that do a living on that, I mean, that's 2 weeks now.
yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, I think at that point you have to evaluate. You got to figure out a different shtick. Yeah, this is a huge buzzkill. Huge bummer. I think it's, I think this is, yeah, I mean, everybody, there were, I'm not the only streamer that planned a weekend around, Trials. This weekend. Hardly. I ran out of Kleenex on GG. Beaufort, thanks so much for hanging out, man. Enjoy the artwork, dude. I appreciate you popping in and hanging out with us. This stuff does need to be discussed. I think so. I mean, I think this is, there's... That's why Grenadier Jake and Frost are doing Apex. I mean,
So
Grenadier
like,
Jake and Frost ran flawless cards all day yesterday, so...
another way to look at it too is like now it's a game, but also you have people who make a living doing these things through your game. You can't just like shut it off like that when these people depend on those game modes to make money.
Yeah.
That was the first reply to that tweet I saw was MyFi. He's like, "What am I gonna do for rent?"
Yeah. Like what?
I mean, yeah, I see both sides of that coin. I'm gonna be honest. I know it's probably a hot take, but
I'm totally playing devil's advocate. But
yeah, but it's like, you know, it's also like it's that, you know, they technically Destiny is not gone.
And then and then Jake's side, he never recovers. He literally carries people all weekend who can't make it themselves.
Right, and I think I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that's perfect
for free.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's because, you know what, this financial support then comes from the people who sub to his Twitch.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean?
They buy the chance to be taken to the lighthouse.
Right. Sub carries and stuff. Yeah, I think that's much better than paying for recos and things like that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not talking about recos at all.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm talking about just having content for people that are subscribing to your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
totally. I mean, I haven't read the full terms, Moon. I don't really know. Probably. More discussions about game integrity that most players aren't ready for. I mean, this goes back to what we talked about on Tuesday. There's something has to change about the way that Destiny players perceive how much weight they hold. I mean, it has to happen. Because I've never seen a developer more accommodating than Bungie has been to their player base. And I have also never seen a player base that treats their developer so terribly. Because if you think about, there are tons of toxic players on CS:GO. Do any of them talk shit about Valve? No. They're horrible to women. They're horrible to the LGBT community. They're horrible to players who are new. They're horrible to other players. But very rarely do the clips that surface on Reddit and social media, the ones that go viral, they are never about death threats to Valve.
And then you see Warzone on the other side of that coin. It's they have nothing but hacks the entire time you're playing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild to me. Funny. Apex is paying Bungie to cancel trials so they can have players. Lol. That's the reason I love the Arma 3 community, because everyone laughs. They see a bug, no one really complains about it. I think you've got, like, there are communities that are going to do that. Like, it's all different, right? It's all about the tone. It's all about the tone. So either you think that this cancellation is a good thing? I will say it sucks for Trials players. I really feel bad for you all. At least the integrity issues, Trials comp or focus isn't ruined Destiny as a whole. So you can still play the game. Yeah. You can still play the game. Forza streamers a daily hacker tracker on their screen. Wow. That's pretty wild. Maybe I'm wrong, but everyone was so dissatisfied when there was no trials. I feel like I know they're cheaters, but maybe as a player, one would just say, well, let's go on to the next game or just keep going. Or get drastic or shut off crossplay and PC to minimize. Yeah, console player being affected. In 2010, 41% of D2 people play PC. But how many of them are crossplay and can still fall back on console for PvP? It just depends on what you define as cheating. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, trials got shut off about 10 minutes ago. Like Bungie's nowhere the bad guy here. They're just trying to figure out a solution to a horrible player and use scandal. I mean, they're making the decision they think is best. They're not actively trying to sabotage the game. Like, that's ridiculous. Again, anybody who thinks that Bungie tries to make decisions intentionally to ruin our day is an idiot. It's their job. They're anything they do. This is probably a pretty tough choice. But I guess they felt like it was valuable enough to do this to ensure less people on PC went to the Lighthouse, or only people who did it legit go to the Lighthouse. I don't know. Again, it's
a legitimacy thing.
Yeah.
People who do it on a daily basis don't want people who have no right being there getting it. So
yeah, I mean, that's true. It's true.
But I don't believe in that. Who cares? Like,
right.
Who cares?
Right.
Like, why? Who cares?
Right. Right.
You know you're skilled. You know, like, when you're playing against someone, you know you're better than that person, no matter the guns, usually.
Or they're better than you.
Yeah, who cares? Like, just...
It's a buzzkill teach for sure. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, couldn't they just leave it on but fix it next week? I mean, I guess, but the problem is that they're... I think Clean Play said it right, like, remove people who earn loot that way, but it's just like, that's such a long, arduous manual process. Like that, I mean, honestly, they have to evaluate the work that goes into that, right? Like,
and it honestly helps other people who are trying to get gear because they just back out anyways. They'll just back out if you don't do it anyways.
Right.
Like, I don't get it. Is it just really because people are crying that people who don't deserve it are getting it? Is that really?
I think here's like, honestly, if we think about this issue dates back to prior to this, right? And I see what you're saying there. They encourage 12-man raids, yeah, because they think it's funny when people meme on raids, but not on. Obviously, it's about the integrity of the mode, which and then we're talking player versus. Anyway, I totally get what you're saying. That comment makes absolute sense. But so this goes back to when Trials first came back. Back in Season of the Worthy, there was no rejoin option, and when somebody would get lagged out, right, bad connections on Game 7, the team's about to go flawless. They lose their flawless because they got kicked. And torches and pitchforks, and oh my gosh, Bungie, I should be able to rejoin my fire team when I get kicked. This is crap. I was on Game 7. We worked so hard, and it was, it's bad because my internet. Bungie didn't say, well, then get better internet, which they easily could have done. Sorry, dude, that's the architecture of the game. You need to just get better internet. It's not our job to fix your connection. We provide the game. We provide the service. Get better internet. Instead, they said, you know what? You're right. That feels really bad. You worked really hard. We want you to have your loot within a certain amount of time inside that match. You can rejoin the game. A act of an olive branch, if you will, to kind of show that it sucks when you get kicked unnecessarily.
So
then
that's the thing
that players turn that exploit into what we have now with the hockey emblems, where because you can do it on separate characters, you can have a win card and a loss card. That's pretty easy. And that doesn't feel good. That takes what was a responsive piece of player feedback and turns it into, and now we're going to use it against you. Thank you for giving us what we wanted. Now we're going to ruin it.
I mean, that's one of those things where they can probably not easily, but they can make an algorithm to only allow it if you've been error coded out of a game and not backed out.
Yeah, but at that point, you'll have people ripping Ethernet cords. I mean, there's always ways around it. Like, it's not, I mean, just technically, I'm sure they could figure that out, but there's always going to be an exploit, right? So I think what we've gotten to a point now here is that, I think I really expect, and I kind of hope that at this point, Bungie goes, fine. You took our trust for a solution to a problem that was legitimate. You took advantage of it. You ruined it for everybody else. You forced us to take down trials. And now that option's gone. And if you get error code out of your flawless, fix your internet. I think they're going to have to revert back to the hard love stance, which is, sorry, dude, then this game isn't for you. Like, you took advantage of us. And that feels really bad. It's like, it's a fool me once situation, right? Like, it's like what choice do they have? We took a kind of, this feature was not initially in trial. We asked for this because we thought it felt bad when you got kicked on game 7. And you know what? It does feel bad. And if it happened to me, I'd be mad about it, dude. But you know what? The people that are not willing to go to game 7 decided to take that feature, flip it around, turn it into something toxic, turn it into something horrible, turn it into something that ruins the integrity of the game. What's Bungie supposed to do? I can tell you exactly what I would do. I would absolutely do exactly what they're doing and take that feature away completely. Sorry, bro. Better move.
Canadian
better move to.
Wrong too. They could add in a suspension with you back out of a game.
That's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah, suspensions for quitting like in comp. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I was just having so much fun. I'm just mad.
Yeah, me too, dude. I feel you. They could make cards account based. I mean, yeah, you make cards account based, but then how do you do rewards? Do you only allow you to get one set of trials rewards every weekend? That'd be pretty rough.
I mean, the rewards are based on the character.
Well, but what he's saying is that you pick up a card and it goes to your quests, and it's there for all three characters. You can't have 3 different cards.
No. But the rewards themselves are per character from the.
I don't think the game has that capability. You think about every single thing that's account-based, fragments, aspects, the ornament quests, anything that tracks across characters, like it's gonna that the card drops the loot, not the character. So if you have 3 wins on that card, that's your 3-win loot.
No, it's per the icon itself. The card just tells you what win you're on for getting to the lighthouse.
I don't think you understand what I'm talking about. That's okay. They can do something about it for sure, but they can extremely easily fix this. One single card on the account and not separate card on their characters. That's kind of what we're talking about, Kaylee. But it just, then you have the loot argument, right? Then you run the argument, why punish the rest of us when that? I mean, that's happens in culture. When Timmy acts out in class and throws his coffee at the teacher and the whole class can't go to recess. It's because Timmy was a dick.
I mean, or you can take that one step further, and it's you only get 1 card per account, and then once it's completed, and then you can reset it. Or
honestly,
buy a new one. Maybe
there's a solution here that's a little different, right? Maybe there's finish the card and create a new one.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that could work, but here's the only issue I see with that, right? Is it allows you to grind 3 sets of armor on 1 character, which maybe that's a problem to Bungie, maybe it's not. They clearly don't want you doing it now. So I don't know. Because then you couldn't lock, if it's an account wide thing, you couldn't lock it out per kill. So I could run 3 cards on my hunter and get loot every time.
But no.
It depends on if they want to do that or not. You get suspensions even with disconnections, error codes, and comp and gamut. You do. Yeah, you absolutely do, for sure. Yeah. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Yeah, I mean, honestly. 1 single card, no multiples. I mean, that seems like the easy fix. But it's just there's a certain level of, there's so many factors to this. How many cards should a player be able to run a weekend? How many times can you reset a single card if you can only have one account wide? Like until it's done, until it's completed. Like, it works for the folk that really only play one character. Yeah. I mean, if I honestly, if I could play 3 cards a week on my hunter, I'd be stoked. But it seems like that's not in their design philosophy.
No,
Maybe the way to appease the community is to change the design philosophy. I don't know.
People do that already. You can run all of the cards. The loot doesn't change.
Yeah, but you can't get it again. You know what I'm saying? If I go to the lighthouse on a mercy card and then I rip a confidence card, I don't get loot until the lighthouse. The only repeatable loot is the lighthouse chest. So if I could run my hunter 3 times in a week, I get 3 pairs of arms. 4 if you include the bounty. That feels a little busted. For one character at least. Need to take away the reconnect and say just some of you ruin it for the rest. We're done being exploited. I mean, honestly, that's probably what they do. It's kind of what I hope they do. It's going to feel bad for the people that experience legitimate issues, which does happen. You know, there are people out there that experience legitimate issues with connectivity. And, you know, it sucks that those people are ultimately the ones that are going to pay the price for the people who are exploiting the system. That's too bad. That's too bad. That's too bad. Just turn trials another grandmaster thing. I mean, I think part of this too, we're talking about single cards on an account and all these different things. I think part of the discussion has to be that trials has to go back behind the paywall. Especially for the cheaters. This is less about exploits and win trading and more about direct hacking and cheaters. But I mean, the fact that you can create a new free account and play trials is nutty. I mean, you absolutely need to put that. Trials has to be considered raid level PvP. You got to pay to play, baby. You got to pay to play. Totally see why people are win trading on PC. I mean, I totally see why, because it's impossible to win, of course. Of course, because that experience is far more competitive than what it is like. That's why people prefer competitive. There's cheaters, there's people that are better than you. It is, you want to go flawless on PC legit, you better be Frostbolt. You better be Good Jake. You better be anybody in that realm of skill, or you better win trade or hack. That sucks. But that's a much larger issue that Bungie has to address by providing better incentives for the lower skilled players to get into trials on PC. That's not the player population's job to fix.
Correct.
That is a design problem. The mode itself is designed as a gatekeeping mode, which is fine. By the way, guys, I'm not advocating for all loot to be free to all players at all. There was a long time in my Destiny career where I decided I was not going to get Not Forgotten. I feel very fortunate to have gotten it when it was in its prime. However, that gun was definitely not going to be for me unless I absolutely worked hard, skilled up, played with the right people, and grinded my balls off. And it made it all the better. But there are people who don't think that way. There are people who think, I paid for the game, I should have everything in it.
It's that way in life, though. Like, there's just such a big, large population of people playing video games now too. It's like I go back to the money making thing, but that's what people are doing. So there's obviously going to be a large group of people following that. So it's more popular than ever now. So it's just people, man. No, it is video games, but it's still people. So you can't escape people.
Yep. You have to do a quest before you do trials, though. I mean, whatever, dude. It's probably 2 hours for a weekend of cheating and getting loot. Yeah, it doesn't take that long. But you just have this will get used by the community. I mean, it's not about them getting used. It's just that they're an empathetic, kind-hearted set of developers that want to service the community that supports them, and they're doing that for the people like this community and like the Glads community and the people you see on Twitch, and they're making a lot of decisions they make because they see the positive impact that it has. But there's this quiet, dark subsect of the community that wants to take that out, ruin it, and You know, it's again, that's I mean, it's not that they're being used by the community. It's that they're trying to service the community, and there is a kind of a darker, villainous portion of the community that wants to take that effort away and make it into something bad.
Yep, just like in all things.
Yeah. The elitism surrounding trials is part of what turns me off to play anyway. It encourages the exploits. I mean, that's what Captain's saying, right? It's impossible to win on PC because of this, because people know they can't. And it's, you know, I think it's, I'm not ever going to have I'm not going to go flawless every week. I'm going to go flawless when I play with the right people and when I have a really, really great and somewhat lucky card. I'm okay with that. The people that are doing win trading are the people who are not okay with that. I want the thing. I need the thing. And again, I think this goes back to part of this, and we're talking human behavior now. Part of this is going back to the person who was just addicted to vigorously teabagging in that one Trials game. And you think about where people are finding their joy in their life, right? Because it's not coming from their relationships. It's not coming from their experience outside of Destiny. The people who are win trading are willing to go as far as it takes to get that piece of Destiny loot, because that is worth more to them than anything. And that's oof, wow, that hurts. You gotta feel bad for those people. You gotta feel bad for those people. That's crazy. Think about that. Some of you guys got up this morning, you made a hot cup of coffee, you sat down to get the lo-fi vibes on, tuned into Teach, and you got to start hanging out with this awesome community of great people that preach positivity and encouragement and love and acceptance. And you think about that was fulfilling, right? You're getting some joy from that. You're experiencing joy from that. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. And there's a subsect of players in Trials right now, and the reason why it's shut down is that instead of something like that, instead of channeling all that energy into something super positive, it's that's where they're getting that from, right? Is that this is what I need to do. It's wild, man. I'll never go flawless on PC, which is fine, but half the time the rewards 3 to 5 not worth it. Plus, beat on PC 3 isn't. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. It's very difficult. So the most people are win trading on doing recovs for money? Probably. If trials are more accessible, fun, and engaging for larger forces of the community, less people would want to pay for recoveries. I mean, I agree. That's what we just said. That's Bungie's issue to fix. They have to create an environment where more people want to try for trials. I don't know what that means, because I think that you can't just make the loot easier to get, because that drives the competitive community away. I think they're on the right track with adept weapons and adept mods for flawlesses, but I think it's the going along the card process that has to change. Something about 1 to 7 has to change. Yeah,
that 5th win's got to be really worth it.
Yep, something about that has to change. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I don't think making it easier to get to the lighthouse is the answer. I think it's about making the 1 to 7 run, and even having losses on the card more worth it, right? Because the second you get a loss on the card, people are like, oh, it's trash, it's done. Waste of an hour. Why? That's the issue. There's got to be something there that they can work on. That's my friend earlier, and I was like, T just having a blast playing Trials, get some games. And they were like, it's not worth it. Wow. Think about that. They're taking a look at Trials loot in the upcoming season. I mean, apparently. Using Pokemon Go as an example, the Kano ticket cost $20. You couldn't buy it 3 weeks before the event. The event came around, and people were like, wait, people didn't buy the ticket, get shiny or new stuff. They buried an antique because they weren't given the chance to do the stuff even though they didn't pay. What they expect? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that was the case. It's wild. I mean, that's a little bit different, where a company charged people for something and then unlocked it for somebody else. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's a little different.
My Destiny career, I've gone flawless once. Back in the last year of D1, remember 2 of the games on the pass were given to me by my team. The other was disconnecting. Playing on PC nowadays, honestly, I have no aspiration by Trials. I mean, it's because it's a waste of time. I've played a couple of Trials cards on PC, and I mean, I could just tell you that I rock like a 1.3. I'm not gonna go flawless on PC. I barely go flawless on console. I'm fortunate to have a flawless title. Fortunate to be unbroken, because I work hard, tried to up my skill level in this game over years of practice. But playing on PC, I mean, that there is a sect of first-person shooter PC players that love Destiny that have latched onto that and have made it the thing to do. And they're very good at video games, much better than I'll ever be. And so you get the situation where, like Babe and Pete said, either people are trying to make money or people aren't willing to practice, or they feel like they don't have time to practice, feel like they'll never win, and they just resort to whatever exploit they can get because that loot or that money or that thing means so much to them that it's worth destroying the integrity of themselves in the game. That hurts. That's rough. It's rough, man. It's rough. How about making it so that 7 wins gets you Lighthouse, but each loss gets 1 win taken away? So he has to still try hardest because more people to accessibility together. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I don't mind that. Baby Pete says idea on losses don't stop the card. And if you get to a 7-win card, you can spend like 150 tokens to buy the flawless loot, non-adept, ornaments for flawless, and lighthouse requirements still stand. I think that's a great idea. I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, Baby Pete, we talked about how it should be a little bit more of a raid spoils, raid guns situation with Saint 14. So right, so if you make a pinnacle piece of gear cost 250 trials tokens, you can get 1 roll of a hand cannon, just like you do at the end of the raid, right? The end of DSC when you roll the chest, you know? Maybe over the course of weeks, you play and you grind and you grind and you grind and you grind and you grind. You save those tokens and you save them and you save them and you save them, and finally, you've got enough to roll the hand cannon once because you played for weeks. And you can go to Saint just like you do at the end of DSC, and you try to get one, right? And maybe it's not weeks and weeks and weeks. Maybe it's like you could roll 1 every 2 weeks or something of trials play. I feel like that's fair. And Saint would have the 3, 5, and 7 in there, all for the same cost, right? All for the same cost. And if you're good at trials, you can zip your way up to 7. And if you're not, you can grind for a couple weeks. Buy one. 1 roll. Try it. 2 pass. The long but easier and the flawless shorter but harder. It's acceptable in so many lose-driven activities. I mean, honestly, I think about DSC. Oh, how nice is it in DSC to finish and go, man, I didn't get a hand cannon this raid, but I do have enough to roll 1. Cool. That's exciting. I never said the point of the 3 losses. I mean, in D1, you get 1 loss. Card was useless. Made sense, but didn't get the losses in general. There must be winners. There must be losers. Hard to imagine want everyone to get the loot. I would put money on the people who play comp all week and then keep going flawless are going to win against those that are casual and such. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a thing, right? Like, that's, you know, skilled players will always prey on non-skilled players. I think that's the nature of competitive games. I do want to try for trials all day. I've been working hard in comp to get better. It would be so cool. Yeah, I think so too, man. I think so too. I think being rewarded tokens for participation at the end of match drops would help a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Reset, count on reset for sure. Yeah. Therefore, I'll pick up all the weekend's loot. Yep. People are really sensitive to being a loser. I mean, that's not Bungie's job to fix. Skill-based matchmaking is a solution, but I also feel like it may help. I mean, that drives away your competitive community. That drives away Frostbolt and gigs and all those. Like, I think that's...
Because they're going to be doing nothing but playing themselves the whole time, and they don't want to do that either.
Yeah. You think about, despite the fact that we're upset because we all logged on to play this weekend as the not Frostbolts of the world, the people who are holding up trials right now, the columns that are supporting the roof of the trials arena, are the highly competitive players. So I don't necessarily think that skill-based matchmaking would do anything. I mean, I get that it would make matches easier for us, but it would also make them substantially more difficult for the people that are actively supporting this mode every weekend.
But yeah, if those guys didn't exist, no one would have. It's like you won't. It's what am I trying to get better for? If they,
right.
You know, that's who I want to be. It's like you got to have role models, man, and everything.
Got to work hard to get there. Yeah, skill-based matchmaking takes away from the increasing difficulty. Then. Yeah, that's true too.
I think we're talking matchmaking for a second. The only thing I do see needs fixed. It needs to be a win-based card matchmaking versus games on card.
I agree. That absolutely should be the thing.
Because we both probably saw it last night on our teams. It's sitting there at 4 and 2 losses, and now we're facing teams that are almost flawless.
Yep.
That's not.
Yep.
Let's put it this way. We've played, me and you, Tej, we played Destiny for 7 years now, and we are still like not the best.
No.
Out there,
not even
and people try to pick this game up and they're like, why can't I play trials? It's like, I've been playing this for 7 years and I'm still not great. Like,
hey, you know what's funny, but again, that loops. I mean, I hate to keep coming back to this, but that's the perception of the Destiny audience, and I think that's I don't know if it's expectation that Bungie sets up or what we've set up for ourselves about how welcoming and wonderful the community is for this game, but it's just true. But I don't log on to Overwatch and go, man, I've been playing for like 6 hours. How come I'm not plat? That's weird, right? Shouldn't I be better at this game now? Shouldn't I be able to be competitive in Overwatch because I played it for a couple of months? No. But nobody thinks that way because Overwatch is designed as a competitive game. Destiny is not advertised that way. Cap says, I hate losing, but I kept playing to get better. However, I literally can't beat a Titan who's flying around with an aimbot. Yeah, Behemoth's going to get fixed, though. If people lose, they either do one of three things. They call him a sweat, say, why am I playing against him? Call him a cheater, or you take it and figure out how you get better next time. I mean, I think that's true, Aether. Hopefully, more people start doing that third option. What if there was a crafting system? There aren't wins and losses, but there are wins that give tokens. You can get 10 wins. You can have access to a Lighthouse Forge. You can craft a weapon frame that leads to grinding out a weapon, playing parts of Trials. Give us Trials, but maybe have it so that 801 decided to help Saint 14. They can get 7 flawless ones on the frame, make it Adept. Dude, that's freaking cool, Doc. That's freaking so cool. Like a forge with a quest. Like you pick up a quest for a hand cannon. You got to get like 100 hand cannon kills in Trials, and then you can come back and make it. Dude, that's freaking cool, dude.
I do like that as well.
That's freaking cool. I would absolutely do that. I would do that every weekend. I'd be like, oh my gosh, guys, there's a hand cannon quest. Let's go.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, Doc. That is, and then if you're, I think you leave the 1 to 7, right? Like, give those great players the opportunity to go quick. It's exactly what Babe and Pete were just talking about. Give us a slower and less sweaty way. Give us the fast and the quick and dirty way. And man, that would, oh my gosh, if there was questing and forging and Ada and saying lore and oh my gosh, Doc, write that down, put it in Discord. Don't show it to anybody. Go work for Bungie. I feel like matchmaking is the thing that would improve me. Yeah, I mean, you have to like, improving comes from playing players who are better than you and watching how they play, watching how they game sense. It's surprising, especially in Destiny, how your success in PvP has actually very little to do with whether or not you can hit heads. It has a lot to do with map awareness. Yep. Game sense. Where are your teammates?
I don't watch TV. I don't watch shows. I watch Twitch.
Yep.
I watch people play the game that I love to play, and it makes me better.
Yep. You watch how people play, how they think, what decisions they make, when they push, when they don't push.
Even if you don't think you're pertaining it, you are.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. I wanted to hop into Trials this season, but I literally can't. I mean, it's tough. It's hard, dude, for sure. 10 wins losses don't matter, correct? Yeah, that's really cool. So the Trials win-loss system just seems like a toxic competitive system. Allows people to find ways to cheese it, which is what they've done, honestly. Practice. Yeah? 100% Vylor. I'm still adamant that high-end rewards flawless should be mostly cosmetic. Loot and power flight and step 2 past their car. Totally agree. Yep. Babe and Feet, you're on it. 100%. You're on it. 100%. I mean, honestly, here's a funny thing. Tuck, pull up your hand cannon. Put up your hand cannon.
Okay. What's up?
Okay. So you have a shader on it?
You got to switch screens.
Oh, I got to switch screens. Hang on. Take a shader off for a second.
Okay.
I didn't even know this, guys. I didn't even know this. This is the hand cannon this week. It's got a nice leather wrap to it. Nice rose gold wings. It's black, little worn. Looks hot, right? I had no idea, because Bungie never really talked about it, that my hand cannon, when I got this to drop from the Lighthouse, is a completely different default shader, different look. And it's cool. But I assumed this is what they were all going to look like this week. I didn't know any different.
I actually didn't even notice that, dude.
This is the Adept for, but that's the thing, like, Tuck, you didn't know, right? Like,
yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Sure, some people would have. Sure, absolutely. People go Lighthouse rig probably know it the first thing, but why is this not being touted as like why are we not talking about what Babe and Peach just said, like the value of the cosmetic reward?
Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, for Adept,
yeah.
Stat boost when you masterwork it.
Stat boost when you masterwork it. Like, I didn't know that till I masterworked it, to be perfectly honest. I'm just, there's stuff. It's wild, man. There's things that are happening here. Oh, was that my last one of those shaders? should have just previewed it. I'm just
It's the
bad.
worst feeling.
I'm just bad, dude. Just
I spent 50K on shaders yesterday.
dang it, dude. Dang it. I'm just gonna use the default
I'm all
now.
stocked
Forget
up.
it, dude.
I'm all stocked
Forget it.
up.
Would rather ask you if you already have the cosmetic, why would you play for the weekend? I think it's about a wider pool of cosmetics, right? And maybe it's like choosing them once a week. Maybe it's making more of them. Maybe it's making instead of putting the ship, the Sparrow, and the Ghost on an RNG win that anybody can get at 3, 5, or 7, or anywhere really on the card. Maybe that's you're putting that up in there. Maybe there's emotes, right? Trials emotes that are like perfect for those intro screens, right? I think like that this is the problem with. This is, again, looping back to we need to have Trials go back behind the paywall, because when Trials goes back behind the paywall, Bungie can put more money into Trials loot and cosmetics. Right now they can't because it's free. You got to put the time and the development into the stuff you can get by paying. I
mean, if your whole game is free, pretty much, like that, I feel like one game mode, especially something that you could control, something that's clearly an issue for you. I think that's the answer, and people don't want to hear that, but that's just the way the world is now, and it's
100%.
That's going to fix it.
100%.